Hello, witches. Come on into this broadcast. I'm High Priestess Austin Venus. This is a very important broadcast, especially if you are the type of person that seeks out witches for help when you have exhausted all mundane ways to get help, to have a solution, to have a real solution to a problem or problems that have been continuous throughout your life. Because when you go to a witch, you expect to get results. You expect things to go right. You expect things to work in your favor. And when that does not happen, you have to question the witch. But what is the number one witch you need to avoid? The number one witch that you need to avoid is witches who talk like this. You need to bury $10,000 in Central Park West. You go to a witch for help, and the witch tells you that the only way to solve this problem, to break this curse or break this hex or break this love spell, is to bury $10,000 in cash, real money that you got from the bank, wherever you got the money, and bury it in Central Park West in Manhattan. Because you know what that witch is going to do? If you're gullible, if you're ignorant, if you're desperate enough for help from that witch, you will bury that $10,000 in Central Park West. And guess what? That witch will go to Central Park West and dig up that money and take it for him or herself. You have to be very careful of witches who tell you to do so much physical things rather than spiritual things. A lot of problems that people have are not physical, not part of this world. They are actually spiritual problems. It's not a human problem. It's not a problem that is mundane or ordinary or the run-of-the-mill bad luck. Most of the problems that people have are spiritual. So if a witch, so-called witch, not really a witch, tells you to bury something that is physical, like not just money, but jewelry, gold, diamonds, something that you value, something that you can't get back, known as a sacrificial ceremony, a sacrificial ritual, you need to avoid that witch, because that witch, him or her, is going to go back and dig it up and take it for themselves, because they know they're running a 3-ring circus. They know they are running a scam on you. Oh, but I trust this witch. Are you really going to bury $10,000 in cold cash in Manhattan, in a place like Manhattan, and think that witch, him or her, because we know that witches can be male or female, is not going to go dig it up? You just got scammed. You just got scammed. I've seen that happen with so many people who are desperate for help, who have exhausted means in the natural and now has to go to somebody who has expertise, or somebody who claims to have expertise in the supernatural for help. No. Most of the problems that people have are spiritual. Most of the problems that people have is because of their own doing. They're not cursed. They're not hats. They're not jinx. It's because of what they chose to do or what they chose not to do. And they have resorted, unfortunately, to a fake-ass witch. That's what they are, a fake-ass witch, for help. And they just got scammed out of money. I had a friend a couple of years ago who got scammed out of $10,000 because this so-called witch told her to bury money in a field, and the witch went back and dug up the money. $10,000 gone just like that. $10,000 gone just that quick. Just that quick. And my friend who sorts out that witch had no real significant and permanently positive change through witchcraft in her life. She had the same problems. The problem continued until she met a real life bona fide, certified, anointed, appointed by Hecate, the queen of witches, and was able to work through those problems spiritually, and now is living a life of prosperity and abundance. You have to be very careful of the so-called witch, who is not really a witch, that you seek out. You really have to be careful. I know, of course, there are things in the craft that you might have to sacrifice, that you know you cannot get back. But you also have to be smart. You also have to think. And think some more. And think some more. Think long and hard. Does this make sense? Is this right? Do I even have $10,000 to spare? Do you have $10,000 to spare? You see those Christians that say, oh, you have to sow $10,000 into my ministry. You have to sow $10,000 into my church to get this, to have this, to get a prophetic word. You know, Jesus would need your money. Jesus needs your money. Why can't Jesus pay his own bills? Why can't Jesus pay his own bills? Why do I have to bury $10,000 in cold cash for my hair to stop falling out when I can really just go to a doctor? A real doctor, not somebody who just happens to have a doctorate degree. Let me tell you something. Just because you call yourself a doctor does not mean you have medical knowledge. Just because you call yourself a doctor does not mean you know how to treat chicken pox. It does not mean you know how to treat AIDS, HIV. You don't even know how to treat chlamydia. Can I keep it real? Can I keep it all the way real with you witches? You have to think. And think some more. Don't be stupid. Ask questions. You can ask questions. Yes, you can. In Christianity, you can't question God. In our faith, you can question the witch. Why do I have to bury $10,000? And how can I be assured that you won't go dig it up? Oh, they'll say something like, oh, well, you have to trust me. 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 That's not an answer. You didn't answer the question. Can you answer the question, or should I just move on? Can you just answer the question, or should I just move on? Give me an answer. I don't want to have to run around, because I don't want to have to come back to this problem that I'm coming to you to solve because I buried $10,000 and now it's not there anymore. Some witches, fake witches, will go so far as to say, go to another country, another state, and bury this money. And guess what? That fake ass witch will be on a plane to France, to the mountains of France, to recover that money. You just got scammed. Oh yes, they do take it that far. They do go that far. They're just that smart. They're just that smart. You do not have to bury $10,000 in cash. You don't have to bury 1 penny in cash. You don't have to bury any money in cash. The real witch would tell you, because if it was a true, definite sacrifice, the witch would say, you have to burn this amount of money. You have to burn this amount of money. Because you definitely can't get it back if it was burned. It's not coming back. It's not coming back. So you really have to be careful of the so-called witch that you go see for help. This is the number one witch you need to avoid. The witch that tells you that you have to give her something physical, something you know you can't get back, like money, like jewelry. Because that same witch that helped you, so-called helped you, will go dig up that $10,000 in Manhattan, Central Park West. Yes. Yes, they will. You have to be smart. Like I just said, a lot of problems that people have nothing to do with anything physical. It's all spiritual. It's spiritual. You need to go to a anointed, appointed spiritualist, a witch, a high priestess like myself, a high priest that is anointed and blessed by Hecate to help you get through these problems, to come to a solution that is long lasting, meaning real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft. Because that is the only definition of witchcraft. Working with the energy found in nature to bring about real, significant, and permanently positive change. Not temporary changes, permanent, forever and ever. So you don't have to go back to the way life once was. And if that witch is telling you to do something that is as absurd and ludicrous and stupid and as dumb as what I've just mentioned, as what I've just exposed, you're going to have to answer to a deity. You're going to have to answer to a god or God. And they're especially going to have to answer to the queen of witches, Hecate, if they scammed you in her name. If you scam in the name of Hecate, she will bring the world down on your neck, crushing it to dust. To dust. To dust. To dust. And you would deserve it. You would deserve it. And nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. No, you would get no sympathy from myself. You will get no sympathy from any other witch or high priestess or high priest. If you scam in the name of Hecate, you will have the world dropped on your throats. It will happen. Because how dare you dirty her good name for fame and money. Money comes and goes. We know we need money to live. We know this. But to scam someone who came to a so-called witch for help and you told them to do something so stupid as what I've just mentioned, you are going to pay. There will be vindication to you. There will be a punishment waiting for you, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I mean, what do you think is going to happen if you play games with Hecate? What do you really think is going to happen? Nothing good, not one good thing is going to come out of it. And you would deserve it. Because the Queen of Witches does not take lightly of her name being misused. She's not like these other deities that let things go. She teaches lessons. Hecate teaches lessons that you may have needed to learn when you were a child. And you will learn that lesson. Or you will repeatedly have the world dropped on your throat. That sounds like a horrible thing. But it's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's justice. It's justice. Be very, very careful of these witches that you go to. The number one witch that you need to avoid is the witch that tells you to bury something of great value, like money, clothes, or jewelry, in a place like Manhattan, like Central Park West, because that same witch is going to go to Central Park West in Manhattan and dig it up and take it for themselves. Those are not witches. Those are manipulators. That is not a witch. That is a manipulator. You know who's real and who's fake by listening to your intuition. Your intuition is your inner compass. Your intuition knows what's up. Your intuition knows what's really hood. Your intuition knows what's really hood. But it's up to you to listen to it. It's up to you to pay heed to it. Your intuition will never lead you astray. Your intuition must be at the utmost importance when you seek out a witch for help, so you don't get caught out there. So you don't get scammed out of your money. $10,000 gone. Just like that. $10,000 just pissed away. Yeah, that's the word for somebody. $10,000 just pissed away. Gone. You can't get it back. It's not going to come back. It's not going to come back multiplied to 20 or 40 or 60 or $80,000. You just got scammed. But I guess everybody plays the fool sometimes, right? But that won't be you after you have watched this broadcast. That will not be you after you have watched this broadcast and shared it with anybody that is seeking out help from a witch. So that's why I wanted to come on here live to talk about. Thank you, witches, for joining me for this pop-up broadcast. I will, of course, leave this up for the replay for any witches or people who are seeking out help from witches that may have come on late. And do turn on notifications to be alerted when I do go live, so you don't miss me live in living color. And with that being said, I will release you into the rest of your evening. Goodbye, everyone.